It was already 2 years ago. I still remember that ghastly night. I was arriving home in my car. I went to park it and I saw a person sitting on the bench in my parents' front yard. I went there and talked to him, asked who he was. He just contemplated me with the most horrifying stare for what felt like a solid minute. I was in shock. I saw he had a hand in his pocket, and his menacing gaze made me realize I could get hurt if I stayed there. I went home, go to my room, and looked at him through the blinds in my window. He wouldn't move. I was thinking of calling the police, but I didn't want to wake up my parents. I became paranoid at this point and couldn't go to sleep. I had the need to be looking through the blinds at this mysterious character. It was already 3 a.m., and the man didn't move an inch. I just noticed that he moved once to smoke a cigarette. I was getting very tired and eventually blacked out. I woke up to a loud slam, like one of the doors was closed violently. I immediately got up and went to my window. To my surprise, the man wasn't there anymore. This made me freak out. I grabbed my flashlight and went searching room by room, from my bedroom to the living room, the bathroom, kitchen, basement. When I got to the basement, after I went down the stairs, the door behind me was slammed shut. I got startled and ran up the stairs, tried to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. I banged at the door in the expectation of my parents listening, coming down from their room to help me get out of the basement. This was to no avail. I sat on the floor and waited for someone to help me get out of there. 4 a.m. I woke up. I'd blacked out once again. I went to the door again to bang it to make someone come help me. I tried to turn the knob, and miraculously the door opened. I was so relieved. I wondered how and why the door got locked in the first place. I went to check my parents' room to see if they were okay, since they didn't hear my loud banging. I entered their room. When I saw the mess that was my parents' room, I almost vomited, dropped to my knees, and was paralyzed. They were both dead, and the walls was written with their blood. Now they won't be talking anymore. I approached them and noticed their tongues were missing and their cheeks were cut ear to ear like a big smile. I called the cops to come to my parents' home as soon as possible, since there had been a dual homicide. The cops were suspecting it was me who did the act, but I assured them that I was locked by an unknown cause in the basement. They made a team come to my parents' corpses. They were in shock since they had never seen someone do to their faces what this maniac did. I didn't know at the time that this man was one responsible for locking me in the basement and then murdering both my parents. How did I come to discover it? Well, the work the police were doing was taking a lot of time. I was feeling desperate to find the one responsible for that atrocity. I'm a big fan of cosplaying, yet I don't cosplay myself. I like to see others doing it, also dressing up with original masks and costumes. There was a convention in my town, one about costumes and that kind of stuff. This year I made a mask just to get in the spirit the day of the convention. At the event, I saw many awesome masks and costumes, but one caught my eye. It was the one that had a mask made of leather, had some spikes on top, and below each eye a tongue. 2 very realistic tongues. I followed that guy around the convention. There was something bugging me about this fella. When he went out of the building where the event was taking place to smoke a cigarette, he took off his mask. I got shocked. It was the same man that was sitting on the bench in my parents' house front yard. I started connecting the pieces and it all started to make sense. The only thing that was bugging me now is that I can't accuse this man just because of this coincidence. He noticed I was looking at him and approached me. He said, "Do I know you?" I said, "Maybe." We started chatting. Eventually he gave me his phone number before we left the event. He was a kind person. I don't see why I feared him before. Yet the idea that he might have to do with the death of my parents is still bugging me. We hang out for some days until he starts acting a bit weird. He invites me more than usual to go to his house and have dinner or lunch with him. He always makes excellent food, so I don't refuse his invites. Funny thing about his food is that it tastes and smells a bit like almonds always. I kind of enjoyed it. I didn't know I was falling into a trap. One day I feel that it is very hard to breathe. Like I breathed in the air, but I felt like I wasn't getting any oxygen out of it. I instantly phoned emergency services and explained how I was feeling. They sent right away an ambulance to my house. When they got there, I was seizing on the floor. I went to the hospital and they administered medication to stop the seizures and make me able to breathe again. They read some blood tests. It turns out I was secretly being poisoned. Finally made sense. I told the police that the man was slowly poisoning me. The police interrogated him, and as it turns out, both the already running investigation to find my parents' murder and now the investigation to find out who poisoned me traced all back to that man. The police also found the mask he took to the event, ran some tests on the tongues of the mask, and found out the DNA of those tongues are both from my mother and my father. He was arrested and sent to jail. I don't know how much time he's going to spend there. I just hope that if he comes out, he never hurts anyone again. I'm still traumatized to this day by what happened and what I saw.